Hi guys, so if I'm recording a video, that means that there's a series that's worth talking about. And this time is a series that is recommended by my good buddy Sheeran, who I think I've brought up his name a few times before in a few other videos before, but he gave me a series and after reading it, I kind of don't really have much choice but to kind of talk about it because it's different and it talks a lot. It's a heavy series, to put simply, so it'll be mostly serious. And also this video, I think compared to a lot of the other videos where I like to talk about like storytelling stuff, this video won't talk about any of the storytelling stuff because this manga does not focus a lot on the importance of storytelling. In fact, it's not a series that, if you rate it purely as a manga, it probably is not that good of a series, honestly speaking. But the whole point of this series is that it's not meant just to be a manga, but the manga is more of a vessel to propagate a message. And the series that I'm talking about is Yomawari Sensei. So directly translated to Night Patrol Sensei, we actually translate Night Patrol Teacher, you directly translate it from Japanese to English. Basically, Yomawari Sensei is about the story writer's experience, who is Mizutani Osamu Sensei, who actually was a former teacher, and he's using a lot of his experiences back when he was teaching to base a lot of the stories that show up in the series. And the thing about this series, Yomawari Sensei, is that it's not really meant to be a manga, but it kind of is. In fact, the best way to put it is that from my perspective reading the series, it's more like a documentary made into a manga style compared to a manga itself. Because the fact is that while it is a manga, I feel like the reason why the medium of manga is used is so that it could reach out to the target audience of the series, which is meant to be like children and teenagers. Because this series really is about a lot of the experiences that Mizutani Sensei had experienced while he was teaching and helping out a lot of troubled teens and children who do a lot of things in the night, because I mean, life doesn't always end up the way you want it to be, and basically his job is to help as many of these people as he can. And this is basically, Yomawari Sensei is basically a combination of all the experiences and people that he's met over the past few years while he was teaching and made into a series. And the thing is that the best way to put this series is that instead of looking at the manga, the true message of what this series is meant to portray is at every single essay or prose, I guess you could say, that Mizutani Sensei writes at the end of every chapter. Basically, the series is meant to help or reach out to as many people as possible to reach out to him for help, because as a person, he's just someone who is trying to help everyone get through day by day, try and get their path set straight. And that's basically what this series is trying to help people achieve, to not fall into the darkness, or even if you are, there's always something that you can do ahead of it. In fact, this is one of the few series that in my close to a decade of reading series that I would say that is the kind of series that you could give to anyone to read, even as a non-manga reader, and they would appreciate it, because the main point of the series is really not about how well the manga is written or the story of the manga itself, but really the messages that the manga is trying to give to people and the sort of message that it's trying to teach people. In fact, very true to Mizutani Sensei's ex-profession as a teacher, this entire series is basically a lesson to everyone who reads it, to be a better person, to try and get yourself in a better place. In fact, it's just really a self-help documentary kind of thing to tell people about stuff. I think as an international reader, you might not fully grasp the essence of it, because it's really based heavily around Japan and the problems that Japanese students and children are facing. So it might be harder for everyone to fully understand, but I think that no matter where you live, I think the messages are very clear, and it really is just a very heartwarming and emotional series. I think out of all the series I've read, this definitely hits a chord within me because it's actually a very real series. It's one of the few series that you could really say is based on a real story, because every story that is written in the series is based on an actual account. It might be slightly fictionalized, but like barely, just to like give the story actually more depth. But the truth is that basically every character in this series is based on an actual person, and just seeing some of the things that happen is really heavy. I mean, it's very hard to spoil this series because even if I spoil the series, it doesn't really affect what you learn from reading the series. And so I would say if you don't mind feeling a bit emotional or depressed or weighed down by how heavy the series actually is, I'd say give it a try, because I think this manga has transcended the idea of what a manga is supposed to be. I think for most people, we like to read manga to enjoy ourselves, read fictional stories that wouldn't exist, just like it's for entertainment. But Yomawari Sensei is really a series more about helping people and teaching people, and the real world effect and influence that it has. And to me, a series like this really oversteps the boundaries of what you would expect, and it's definitely an outstanding series that definitely everyone should take a look at, because no matter whether you like the themes or you like the series or the story, it really is just a life lesson. And yeah, it's just a series that encapsulates the life of Mizutani Sensei and his existence, basically. That's how much thought I can feel from him whenever I read the series. So yeah, if you haven't checked it out, please check it out, because I think it really expands your worldview on what a manga is supposed to do and the purpose of what manga is made for. And I really have a newfound respect for Mizutani Sensei. He's not really a mangaka, and this is basically the only series that he's properly worked on, like fully through and through. But it really is just an amazing piece of work, telling a lot about his life, and I really respect him for that. And yeah, that is basically all I have to say about the series. I'll probably see you guys again another time, sometime soon, in a video in like a week or two. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about with regards to Yomawari Sensei. And I'll see you guys whenever, I guess. Goodbye.